Welcome, everybody. Hi, I'm Keith Vitali, and welcome to Sidekick Podcast. Listen, I'm so excited about this episode because I have a guest on today that I've never met before. But this guy's got the best personality. You're going to love him. I love this guy already. His name is R. Marcus Taylor. And let me tell you a little bit about him before I bring him on the show. He's a stunt guy. He's an actor, and he's a hell of a martial artist. My goodness, wait till you see some of his action, his reels. I'm so impressed. He's worked on TV shows and movies like Baby Driver, Step Up, Blacklist, um, Luke Cage, and so many more. But he got his breakout, his big starring chance in 2017 when he played this character called Suge Knight, Straight Outta Compton. And that movie was so impressive. I heard earlier that it was the number one movie for 4 weeks in a row and kind of made you like an overnight star. Please welcome on my show the great Marcus Taylor. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
How you doing, sir? I'm a little starstruck, so be patient. This is
Well,
awesome.
I love having you on the show.
Thank you so
Listen,
much. I'm like you got
well,
like you're the you Shogasugi, you guys are the ones that really got me on my martial arts, like journey. So I'm excited to even just speak with you. This is such a blessing.
well, I tell you what, I love hearing that. Let me tell you why. That's my X factor. If you said, people compliment me about movies or fighting careers or whatever, and that's all wonderful. But when somebody says I had a positive impact on their life and I helped inspire them towards the martial arts that I love so much, well, then that means the most to me. So I really thank you for saying that. I
Oh
mean,
no, it's my
you
pleasure,
couldn't have
sir.
said anything else.
My pleasure.
Well, I tell you why I enjoy speaking with you because you like the same things I like. I've seen a couple of your interviews and I know a little bit about you,
Hmm.
but the new millennium, let's say, and it's not their fault, they're new. They don't have the knowledge that we have with the old, with, the foundation, the stars in the martial arts
Yeah.
and the old Hong Kong films,
Hmm.
on those people. They're just getting to know them.
Yeah.
You do have an appreciation for them. So when we start talking about names and movie stars and people like that, you get excited because these are people you looked up to like I looked up to.
Yes.
Now, so that's kind of cool. Well, let me just ask you, where do you live?
Um, I'm I live in New Jersey, but I'm from like I'm in New Jersey, LA, and Atlanta. But my base is New Jersey. But I'm actually moving to Atlanta in a few months. So that will be my home base in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm excited.
Well, get this. We are hooking up once you get to Atlanta, 'cause that's where I live.
Awesome, awesome. I'm gonna
Oh,
buy you dinner. I'm telling you. We're gonna talk about a whole bunch of stuff.
I know. We're going to start off with fat burgers, but we don't have fat burgers. We're going to
No,
find some
yeah.
other place.
I stopped eating red meat, so I can't do it. So I'll take you anywhere
Uh,
else.
Well, I literally have the worst diet in America. No one worse. I don't eat vegetables. I don't eat fish. I don't eat anything. I just eat pasta. I'm Italian, so I eat
That's me.
spaghetti, pasta. Yeah, and I eat chicken and hamburgers. That's all I eat. I don't eat anything else.
See, I'm with
So
you.
I think my doctor says I probably will die the minute I quit working out. Because I don't eat right. But I stay in shape in the whole bit. But here's the thing: you mentioned earlier on another interview a guy named Jeff Pruitt.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about Jeff.
Wow. First, like Jeff Pruitt, in my judgment, is the fastest martial arts action star actor I've ever seen. Like, it's just, it's just, it's just the truth. And there was a time where he was the fastest man I've ever seen on camera. I've never seen anybody that fast before, and I just thought that was like
Well,
awesome. And
I've heard that.
he made other people look really bad in movies.
Well, something. Now get this: two things. You won't believe this story. Him and his wife have been friends of my wife, of ours, right?
Yes.
And his wife.
Oh,
She's
she's
Sophia
lovely.
Crawford. She's just wonderful, and she doubled Buffy the Vampire
Hmm.
Slayer. She played in the Power Rangers. Anyway, we bring them over from time to time and have dinner. We'll be bringing you over for dinner. I promise you. Get this. So they come over, have dinner. Really didn't know who Jeff was that much. We're just friends.
Right.
So we're eating dinner. Sophie and I were talking about with my wife, Kathy, we're talking about Jackie Chan or her movies in
Uh,
Hong Kong. And then anyway, I said, "Well, I'm gonna interview before I interview Sophia, I'm gonna interview Jeff." So I did some
yeah.
research. And I went, "Oh my god, I didn't even realize who he was."
So,
And I told Jeff on his podcast, I said, "I bet when you got in the car with your wife on the way home, you went, 'I don't think my Charlie knows who I am.'" And I didn't. That guy is sharp.
oh
He
yeah.
is
Oh,
fantastic. He's
fantastic.
an awesome.
Both of them are just
Yeah,
like
man,
they're icons. They're icons. And
guess what?
yeah.
I hang out with him every Thursday. We hang out every Thursday.
S-
I mean, just think, and Sophia, she's got a ground and pound
Oh yeah.
coffee shop
I've
here,
been there.
right down the street from us.
Yes.
And so I ate breakfast. I had breakfast here Thursday, so we kind of hang out. You're gonna love it in Atlanta, I promise you.
I believe so. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, and then here's another name. I'm gonna throw a couple names at you. One is John Crane. I heard you mention John Crane.
Oh yeah. Oh
How do
God.
you know
He's like a
John?
big brother to me. Like he's one of the first people that embraced me in California and Los Angeles. Because I read his book. And he was just like, "You read it?" I was like, "Yeah, I read it. It's crazy. It's awesome." Because I wanted to really understand about emotional content in a fight scene. Yeah, you can just do the moves, but you gotta feel them. You gotta feel that
See,
emotion. What's behind it, you know? So and a lot of people
well,
today maybe don't really do as much as that, but I mean,
well,
that's my thing.
it is your thing, and it's mine too. I'm doing some series on how to break it into film. So later in this episode, I'm going to ask you, what do give me some tidbits, some
Oh yeah.
suggestions for those listeners out
Okay.
there who are martial artists and are thinking about breaking into film. So we'll do that later.
Definitely.
But you are right
Yeah.
on, because it's not just about, throwing the techniques. Most people think, well, I've just got to be Van Damme or somebody. No,
Mm,
they've already got Van
yeah,
Damme.
exactly.
You've got to be the guy reacting to
There
Van
you
Damme. You
go.
got to make him look good, or her, and you've got to do that not just also with your body, but with your face.
Yes.
So you got to get into the character.
Exactly.
So I can't wait to get into. And another guy is James Liu. Do you know James
The
Liu? Do you work
Dragon
with him
Master
on?
himself, another a
Yeah,
hero of mine. Um, I mean, long as I can remember, like every time I saw him, it was just like he just had that emotional content, but he had this. But his techniques were so smooth and fluid, and he could it just as good as a stunt person. I thought he should have had his own series at one point, but now he
I
won an
agree.
Emmy. He's doing great as a coordinator and a producer. He's doing good stuff.
Well, let me tell you a couple of stories. I'll go back to John Crane
Yeah,
first. First of all, when John was a brown belt, he'd fly in from Washington and stay with me.
nice,
Then I would train him. And then later on, I moved with him for a while when I was taking acting classes from Jeff Goldblum. I was taking
nice.
classes out there. I would live with John Crane. We were best of
Wow.
friends, and he was a comedian, and I would go with him to the Comedy Store and the Improv, and I'd be the guy sometimes that were heckling him
Yeah.
because he had great comebacks to
Oh
hecklers.
yeah.
But you know something, I almost didn't have to heckle him because he killed every time. He was such a good comedian,
People don't know. Like John Crane was on BET Comic View. He was the only Asian person performing at the Comic View, and this was like back in 94, 95, 96,
right?
and he was just spot on. He just made everybody laugh because he was just funny. He was just kept coming, and if somebody tried to heckle him, he'd come right back at him harder, and it was beautiful. And that's the first time
Oh
I had
yeah,
no idea he was such a great martial artist. And when I met him, I know
oh
him
yeah.
from the being the
Oh,
comedian.
that's cool.
Then he wrote that book. I was like, "Get out of here." So yeah, we click like we're like this, definitely.
Well, that's so good because I am basically one of his mentors,
Yes.
and he calls me up. We speak maybe once a week or text or whatever, and I've been with this for years and years and years and
Yeah.
years. And if he'll have a problem, but I always encourage him. I always stay positive with him because he's one of the most likable people on this
Yeah.
planet. Him and
Oh yeah,
Melissa,
love them
his
both.
girlfriend, they're they're just good
Yeah.
people. So anything I can do to help John Crane, I always do
Yeah.
because I love that guy. And James Liu, get this, years ago, and I'll throw some names at you. Curtis Wong owns Inside Kung Fu
Yes.
magazine. He calls me up and said, "Keith, I want to do a book with you, magazine cover and stuff." So I fly down to California, and I have a friend of mine named now Mike Stone. it's a big star at the time. So anyway, Mike Stone goes with me, and he's gonna be on the cover with me, both on my book. I wrote a book on
Okay.
fighting, and then, also we were doing a magazine cover and inside stories. So he was on the cover with me. He write the inside note to me and the whole bit. So while he was doing the cover
Mhm.
with me, I said, "Well, I don't have a partner to take the photographs with because, Mike had to leave." And so, Curtis One goes, "Hey, I got a guy right over here, James Lou. Why don't you use him?"
Isn't
So
that crazy?
James Lou got dressed. He put his white belt on, and he was in all my photographs in my book
Awesome.
on how to do stuff.
Awesome. This is all I'm
So think
excited.
about
I'm
that. I
just
mean,
I'm really excited right now. I'm just listening because this is awesome.
yeah. Yeah, and good. That's because these are the stories that are intertwined with all those in Hollywood back in the day and the martial
Mhm.
artists. And you have a love of both, not only martial arts films, but martial
Yes.
artists because you're a phenomenal
Thank
martial
you, sir,
artist.
very much.
What are you, about six
Yes,
three?
sir. Yes, sir.
And how much do you
Well,
weigh?
when I started, I was over 300. I think the most, like when I did Straight Outta Compton, I was like 340, and then I lost 140
Right.
pounds, and so I
Wow.
got down to like a little under 200, and I was walking around there, and then I started to put on
Wow.
muscle, so I'm about 240 right now.
Yeah, I think 240, 250 is good
Yeah,
for you. And to see somebody kick like you can
yeah.
kick and jump like you can kick, where in the hell did you learn how to do that parkour stuff? I mean, what, did you just make that stuff up?
No,
You can do all that
no,
stuff.
Jackie Chan movies and ninja movies. That's how I learned it.
Oh
That's
my
how like
goodness.
people around my neighborhood. We just call it running. But we saw it from Jackie Chan doing it. We were just like, wow, this is let's try it. And so we would do it for hours, hours. And then we
Right.
found out that it comes from France. And I was like, wow, so let me study about it. It came from France. And I studied more of it, and it's just like, wow, I want to do this stuff in a movie. Eventually, hopefully I'll do it. I'm like, you'll never a big
Well,
guy
you're
flying in the
spinning.
air and walking on
Yeah.
walls.
It's it's tough to do. It's hard to do the jump spinning kicks for a lightweight like me, but for somebody your size to be able to do it and your movement and you have good
Yeah,
technique, and then you add the facial expressions and the
yeah.
acting, and it really is solid.
Thank you.
I saw a clip. I was kind of just going through, and I wasn't looking. It's just your reel popped up. It's like anger
Yes.
management or something. You put a little fight scene and I was clapping watching it. Listen, I'm telling you, that's the how-to. I'm gonna recommend it when I'm doing my
Oh,
clips from breaking into
wow.
film. I'm gonna say, "Listen, you gotta put together film clips. I mean, you gotta put a reel together. You gotta showcase your
Yes.
talent, not just your talent, but your reaction to
Mhm.
talent, your reaction to
Yes.
the fight. You did it all.
Thank you.
You put it all."
That right actually, the person I was, working with, his name is Jeremy Sample. He's one of the biggest stuntmen in the world, and, yeah, in the
Wow.
world, and he wanted to show, to, big guys, doing martial arts. He started in martial arts, but he didn't know those kicks, so I helped him out with some of those kicks, and it came out to be a
Oh, cool.
really good we had a lot of people just giving us a lot of like love for it's like I never seen two big guys move like that. And I was like, we're around.
Right.
We're around.
No, that's your real, and let me tell you something, I produced a couple films with a friend of mine named Keith
Of
Strandberg.
course.
I don't know if you ever got a chance to meet Keith
Yes.
Strandberg.
I
Anyway,
I mean,
well, Keith
oh God. Super fights. I still love
yes. Oh, yes.
I when you
Oh,
did the
yeah.
fight, the I mean, every
Yeah.
scene, it was perfect. You made everybody look
Oh,
best.
man.
It was awesome.
Well
I won the
well,
jury win.
here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing. I love this because you get typecasted because of your height and your look and the whole, which is not a bad thing. It's a great thing. I can't play
Right.
your roles. I wish I could play your roles, but then again, you can't play some of mine. But in super fights, people always said, "Well, Vitali, he doesn't have the looks for the bad guy." I love playing the
Exactly.
bad guy. Jackie Chan, I played the
Yes.
bad guy. A lot of these movies, I played the bad guy. In super fights, oh my gosh, with Brandon Gaines, I got the opportunity to be the
Yes.
bad guy. And that last fight scene, that last 10-minute fight scene, I thought it was bad to the bone because I took myself
Right.
out of it. And from being there, like I thought maybe if I just look at it, from a different perspective, and I went, I liked how I got killed. It was pretty
Yes, it
good. It was like
was. It
I was
was.
clapping at the
You know
end.
what I liked a lot? you were doing this thing with your leg. It looked like, in a way, it looked like Michael Jackson, but it looked so bad. It looked so hot, and I was like, he's about to come at you, and you did that move. I thought that was phenomenal. That like rose the bar for
Oh, it's
me.
funny. Oh, here's the thing. Going back, Michael Jackson was a friend of mine as well. I used to hang out with, back in Hollywood,
Yeah.
back in the days with Michael Jackson. He would sing songs to me and stuff. But anyway, we were doing that. We had this guy named Tony
Yes.
Leung. It's a world famous,
Yep.
fight coordinator, and he worked with all the greats. And he said, "Keith, I want you to pick your leg up and do that." And I went doing that. I was joking with him, going, "Tony, don't
Are you
make me do it."
serious?
No, no, you must do that. 'Cause he saw somebody else do it. You know how they put the fight sequences together? His team, they're off to the side, and they got video cassettes, and they're putting them in, and watching them
Yeah.
on a little TV, and they go, "Oh," and they're speaking in Chinese going, "This," and they come over to me, and they go, "Okay, do this." And I go, "Oh, no, not" but I kinda laughed. Yeah, and so they said, "Get your knee,"
That
I
was
went,
hot.
"Oh
That was
god."
awesome. I thought that was like the coolest
Oh,
part.
man.
And I was like, what is? So I practiced doing that. I'm serious. It was awesome.
Oh god.
It was awesome.
Oh, that was so cool. I enjoyed that. I wish that film got a bigger marketing
Yes.
distribution because it didn't go anywhere because, you know, I asked Keith, I interviewed Keith Strandberg too earlier, and Keith said it hadn't even come out yet. And I said, "Why didn't some of these movies get wider distribution?" He said, "Because it got
Mm,
saturated." He said there were so many coming out
yeah.
at one time that he says at one time he sold like King of the Kickboxers to one international buyer for 500,000, just one buyer. He says, then they did a film like I co-produced a film
Oh
with
yeah.
Gary Daniels and
Blood
Darren
Moon. Yes.
Chevalley called Blood Moon. Well, we spent 3 times the amount of money we've ever spent, and we had big stars, big production, and we filmed a lot in Screen Gems in North Carolina. So all of it was first
Yeah.
for all of us. And he took that film that was really good, and he took it back over to the same guy that spent
Right.
500,000, and they only offered Keith's company 50,000. And he said, Keith goes, "We spent millions." And they said, "We have so many." One thing is, get this, the Roger Corman films, the Don Wilson
Uh
films, and
huh.
all those, they were making those films every 7 to 10 days. Where most films take 3, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, they were just putting them out, and it became like a manufacturing plant for movies, and they got so many
Yeah.
on the market, it kinda stifled the
I thought it came
distribution.
on HBO. I remember it when it came out. It was on HBO, and yeah, it
Well,
was.
it's good.
Yeah, it was like a feature. Like it was on like Thursdays. They would have like features. They would have like maybe
Oh, that's
Don
right,
the
that's right.
Dragon would be in one movie, and then it was Gary
Right.
Daniels, and Chuck Jeffries. I mean, you had that. I'm like, it was.
Oh, yeah, that got pretty good. Yeah, that I picked
Yeah,
up pretty well. And hey, I'll tell you what, those 2 guys, they can deal. What is it about the water in London, in England? You got Scott Adkins, you got
yes,
Gary Daniels, you got that Darren Chevalley. Now he
yeah. I
passed
know.
away,
Yeah, it's
I
very
was
sad.
but but I worked with all 3 of those guys. I fought all 3 of those guys. Now just think about no, 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 I'll tell you the back. I haven't met Scott Adkins yet. I take the back. I have met him. He came to one of our action film
Really?
camps, and when he came to perform, you won't believe this, he came in because Michael DePasquale and I and Keith Strandberg started the action film camp in North Carolina
Yes.
in New York, and it was at the Storm King. And this guy comes in from London, and he flies in, and he auditions for us. I couldn't even believe it.
Yeah.
My jaw dropped. I had never seen anybody that talented in my life,
He's the real deal.
and I just went,
He's the
he's really
real
great.
deal. I haven't met him yet, but
And
I
now
would
look at his
love
success.
to meet him, even work with
Yeah,
him. That would be, I mean, that would be awesome. And he's honestly, I just think he's like the old school humble martial artist. He
yep,
doesn't complain. He
yep,
just keeps doing what he's doing, and he just did John Wick, and that really kind of boosted him.
right.
I think, and I hopefully it can
Ooh, yeah,
change the game for
yep.
action. I definitely because he should have been Batman in my judgment. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I tell you what, I told, Keith Stremberg when I had him on as an interview, and I said, "Remember we had at our action film camp and Scott Adkins came on?" I said, "Remember my first 2 emotions were, one is he's the most incredible
Yeah.
martial artist I've ever seen. He's like the perfect, with the looks and the
Mhm.
body and everything else. 2, I was depressed because he was the
Yeah.
perfect martial artist, and I could never do what he's doing."
You could do it. He saw you do it. That's why he did it.
Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Yeah, and it's cool, and, and I love the fact that I've worked with so many great people
Oh,
that
yeah.
you respect,
Oh,
like Lauren
yeah.
Avedon. How cool is Lauren Avedon?
It's
Have you had a chance
no,
to meet him
it's
yet?
like all my heroes are on Facebook. It's, like, awesome, and it's like the little kid in me just comes out, and it's just
Yep,
I would love to meet
yep.
him, and it's like, in my mind, I wanna do a fight scene with all y'all and get killed by all of you guys. Like, I wanna be that bad guy that you guys
Oh, that's
get
so
and
cool.
and just beat my butt, because I love it.
Well, I'm kinda like you. I'm like you because in Blood Moon, I was only producing Blood Moon. I
Right.
wasn't gonna be in it, and Gary Daniels looked at me and he smiled in one of the scenes. He goes, "Keith, I've always wanted to kill you and beat you up in a
Exactly.
film." I said, "Sure, I'll
Yes.
do it."
The beach scene was awesome. I love that scene when you did that jump sidekick.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was beautiful.
I was just right there, and then all of a sudden I said, "Sure, I'll just go do it right now." And then they go, "Ready, action." I just went and did the kick, did a couple of moves, and then I got back out. So, but it was
Yeah.
fun doing that, and I've got my own heroes like that, and I've enjoyed working with. And I get this in a couple days. I'm flying. My wife and I are flying to go spend time in Clearwater, Florida, where my son lives. His fiance. We're going to spend time. But guess what? Lauren Avedon lives there too. So on Friday, we're hanging out on Friday. And what we do is we dress out in our geese, we go to the beach and
Nice.
throw kicks, we go to dinner. We have so much respect for each other, and I told him, and I really believe it. I've worked with some of the best in the world. When you say I've worked with
Mhm.
Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung and
Yeah.
Yong Bao and Darren Chevalier and all these guys, I think Lauren could be the best
I
kicker
bel
I've
no,
ever seen. Now
I
they're
think
all
he
great.
like, when I saw, No Retreat, No Surrender 2, when you first look at him, I'm just like, "Okay." But then, when he gets in that ring, he
Yeah,
puts those gloves on, those kicks are flying, I'm like, "Wow." The technique, the
yeah,
speed, the
yeah.
athleticism,
He
I mean,
yeah,
he was I like was and he could act. He can do
yeah.
all of that,
He's a good kid. He's
I thought that was awesome. I followed him when No Retreat, No Surrender Part 3 was coming. I would call the video store every Tuesday when it's supposed to come out. "Is it coming out? Is it coming out?" "No, not this week." "Come back the next week." "Is it coming
yeah,
out?" Because I used to get
yeah.
upset because, like, I want my movies. I went about to see my movies, and just being that kid, growing up and watching you guys do all those awesome things on camera. Like, I mean, I remember when you did the kip up,
Well,
in the hostage scene, and when
yeah.
you were so. I mean, he's still badass.
Well, let me tell you how badass I was at that time. So Tony Leung looks at me and he says, "I need you to kip up." And then I had a broken wrist because I broke it for real, in the film. And the
Wow.
week before was shooting. And Lauren and I were messing around. Lauren did a double flying sidekick
Yeah.
against a hanging bag. He had a guy holding the bag. Well, he does it, bounced off. Then I said, "Well, I better go try because this guy is as good as I've ever seen." I've never done a flying
Yeah.
sidekick with 2 feet, but I did it. I flew in the air like Superman. I hit the bag. Well, there was nobody holding
You're right.
the hanging bag.
It.
So it moved and I fell on the concrete and
Wow.
broke my wrist. So now here it is. I've got a cast. I'm filming and I got a gun in this hand. So Tony says, "You have to kip up." Now here's the thing. We train people in action film camp. You don't ever look at your director and go, or your fight coordinator
No.
going, "I can't do that." Or they'll guess
They
what they
will
do?
replace
They'll
you.
replace you with
Yes.
somebody they can. And so I looked over at Tony. Now I'm the star of the film, so he can't just replace me. But I looked over and I said, "Can you teach me?" And he giggled. He said, "I can teach you right now." He goes over in 5 minutes, teaches me how to do a kip up.
Are
I've
you
never done a kip up
serious?
before, and couldn't use my hands. I had to use back of my neck. So I've got a gun in one hand. Couldn't use this one because it's broken. And then he taught me how to do it. And I bounced up when I did it. As soon as it said cut, everybody
That
clapped
was
because I just learned
amazing.
it right on the
I
spot.
swear to God, that was amazing. Like, you never done a kip up before that.
Oh shoot! Not I did it one other time.
Oh
Never
my
tried ever
gosh.
since. But no, it's like it's so funny because you know All the guys, the great guys, Lauren Avedon, all of them from Jackie to especially Gary Daniels, he hated being doubled. They all don't wanna be doubled, but sometimes you gotta be doubled because there's things that these Hong Kong stunt
You're
guys can do,
absolutely
we
correct.
can't do. Now me, I was kinda happy camper where something the director goes, "You're gonna do a spin, a pirouette, and land on the desk." I said, "You want me on the desk?" He goes, "No, on the corner of the desk." I went, "Corner? Are you out of your mind?" I look at him and smile, he goes, "You don't have to do that." And they bring the stunt
Yeah.
guy in to double me, and then people go, "Oh, man, Vitali's great. Look at that's pirouette he just
That
did."
was
No,
some
that wasn't me. That
right.
was
That's well, like in my case, I always wanted to do all my stunts, but and then like the last, I guess, 6 years, my agent, my manager, even my publicist is like, you can't do all of them. Actually, I can. That's the whole point. But they don't want me
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
I make sure I do as mo I I'll say I wanna do as much as I can, you know? I can't, like, go through the window no more like I used to, but, like, I did it in Luke Cage, I was thrown through the window, but they won't let me do certain things, but I'm doing all my fight scenes, all of them.
Yeah. Well, you can't. I think that's why you're going to be even a bigger star than you are now because I think you can do so much that I mean, and really the directors like that when their star
Mhm.
can do a lot of things. They don't
Yeah.
have to double them all the time. I had Chuck Jeffries, believe it or not. Chuck Jeffries,
Oh,
I don't
I
know if you
know.
know him.
He's
He
one of
was
my
in Blood
heroes.
Moon. Oh yeah, well he's great. Now get this. He has a simple scene. You know how simple this scene is? He has a motorcycle helmet on. He just has to go 15 feet on the motorcycle and pull up in front of
Yeah.
the dojo and get off. And then he looks at us, he says, "I can't ride I don't know how to ride a motorcycle." And then, get this, we have SAG says there, we can't just put anybody on the bike. We have to get somebody
Yeah.
to fly in from LA to get on the bike. I mean, all
Yeah.
that, I went, "Oh my gosh." So sometimes when you can do the
Oh, yeah,
stunts,
it
it makes
does.
it
It
makes
makes
life
people
much
feel,
easier
like,
for
comfortable,
production.
especially if they know you've been doing it a long time, they feel safe with you. So, definitely.
We know you played this movie with Cynthia Rothrock and,
Ye
Don Wilson. What was that called?
yeah,
That
Paying
Payne
Mr.
Mr.
McGetty,
McGetty
yeah.
Payne McGetty? What's
Yeah, that's the film.
what? Well, anyway,
No,
I
no.
gotta apologize to you. I introduced Don Wilson. Get this, I introduced Don Wilson. I was given Don's background, and Don
Oh,
is a
yeah.
great actor as well. He even won Best Actor. I said he won Best Actor for a film he did called Paying Mr. Spaghetti at the Burbank
Right.
International Film Festival. He stops me. He said, "Keith, I didn't win that." He said, "Marcus won that." I said, "Really? Marcus Taylor won that." I went, "Great." He said, "I think I took
Yeah,
second place." That's what he said. So
thank you.
congratulations,
Yeah,
you won that.
it's like, I guess people didn't think I could be funny because they one thing about when you do a good job on your first big break, people really think or expect you to be that person, like, 24/7 and throughout your career, and I said, "No, I put on 80 pounds to play Suge Knight. It took me about 3.5 months. So
Right,
I
right.
just studied. So yes, I'm an actor. So I'm gonna play whatever I need to be for that film. And in that case, I wanted to be this young guy that's trying to do good, but he's going through a lot of different things, and you know um, um he's accused of sleeping with a mafia boss's daughter, which wasn't true, and Don the Dragon is the assassin trying to kill me, which scares me because he can really be that if he wanted to. But yeah, it was funny. It was fun. It was fun. I loved every part of it. Definitely.
Well, no, that's good because, the fact that you won an award, like, is pretty good. I have so much pride in my kicking ability and physical ability, but I never really had the confidence as an actor, even though I took classes. But I was a fighter first, and I
Yes,
was in the ring fighting, and then to make that transition over is a little difficult because you don't project
exactly.
emotions when you're in the ring. It's the opposite. And guess what? In fighting, and as a fighter, you don't telegraph. In acting,
Everything.
you
Yeah.
telegraph your techniques, and you've got to tell the
Yes.
story with your face. So it's really difficult that way in there.
See, before IMDb, I was IMDb. And I remember the movies that you were in, and one that was really good that you should like that you really deserved an award was American Kickboxer 1. That was like a real that was a real
Oh, wow.
drama. Like it was about it. I
Yeah.
loved it. The even when the main character was hiding, trying to get back, and then you meet up with him and you do that sparring session, and he doesn't fight back. It was just like the emotion was there. I just love the way you just came out. That was
Oh,
awesome.
thank you so much. Oh, you're the first person on this planet. Not even my wife has
Really?
ever told me that.
No,
So thank
no,
you so
your
much. Oh
acting was
yeah, I
like
don't get,
that's when like
but
this guy is really
uh,
actor. Distinct, like you're portraying a guy. You're not that dude because you're a badass like champion dude. You're not this unbecoming guy looking uh, you know, for help because you on English. You're Chief Vitali, man. Seriously. So when you're doing that, and the main character is brushing you off or whatever because he's going through his thing, and like your emotions come out like, what do I gotta do? Because I felt that way. That's why I identify with that.
we'll talk about this, but people go, "I wanna
Yeah.
be so great when I break into films." Guess what? You've gotta make that
Yes.
actor that you're fighting look great. And people say, "Oh, these are the best fighters in the world." Guess what? No, they got the best stuntmen in the world.
Exactly.
It's the stunt reactions. The stunt
Yes.
reactions what made you
And it,
look good, you know? It's like when Brad did that little
yeah, it
reaction,
did.
it took
It
his
did.
power away, didn't it?
And like for
Yeah.
me, I I thought being the bad guy was good for me because I want to express that my reactions. I love doing reactions. I like pretending. I love being the bad person and then
Right.
eventually get my butt kicked because I think it's more work for me than than the actor in my judgment. I'm doing more so I can make you look good, which makes the movie look good, which is profitable.
Right. No,
And that's what I think about when it comes to doing stunt work
right,
and being a
exactly.
person that does fight scenes. We have to make that that person be the baddest dude on the planet. That's how I thought about it. That's how I was taught. And I want to be the best type of person like that. So
That's it.
it's
Perfect.
worked out so far for me. Definitely.
Right. Right, and I truly believe if a martial artist came to me and he goes, "Listen, I've been training," or she's been training, even a child, "How do I break into the films?" I say the best way
Yes.
is as a stunt fighter. That's the best way. Now, there's a difference between a stuntman. A
Hmm.
stuntman are the guys that jump off buildings and burning fires and, crash cars. If you wanna do that, you've gotta go to a specialized school and learn that. But other than that, if you're a martial artist, you just really gotta learn
Yes.
first, perfect your technique because you gotta be great on both sides, and then 2, you've gotta be
Yes.
able
You
to
got to
sell
sell
it,
it.
your reactions and the whole bit. And the key is this, if you can make that person you're
Yes.
fighting look good, they're gonna
Yes, sir.
want you again. As simple as that. And the more better you make that person look good,
Absolutely.
the
I
more
mean,
you're gonna
I'm
work.
living proof. I was, I'm blessed, but I was
Yep.
working, consistently before, Straight Outta Compton. I just, I do what I'm told. If they tell you got to do it this way, do it that way. Let your ego go away because you're not that character right. You're not yourself right now. You're someone else. You're pretending to be somebody else. Right now, you're pretending to be that robber or that killer or
There's a good
yeah.
and a bad perception because it's what there's a perception of watching these films because people at home believe what they see. Jackie Chan was pretty smart. You think about this. When Bruce Lee did
Yes.
this movie with
Yeah.
Chuck Norris, when he first started, guess what? He beat Chuck Norris. Who do you think is better, Chuck Norris or
Yeah. Of
Bruce Lee? Well,
course.
Bruce Lee to the average fan because he beat Chuck Norris
Yeah.
in the film. It doesn't matter. So Jackie Chan, guess what? He brought Benny Urquidez and I
Yeah.
down to
Love that movie.
Barcelona to do Wheels on Mills. Guess what? I was a top point fighter. Benny was a top full contact fighter. And guess what? We got our asses kicked. You know why?
Right.
Because that proves that they're much better than us. And then you happen to have, you did that film,
Yes.
the Compton film. And the perception is
Yeah.
you play that role so good that the perception is, which is
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
reality, is that's who you are
It's
as a
gonna be
figure.
really.
Did you ever have problems with that or walking
Oh,
around or people thinking you were Suge Knight?
I'll tell you one quick story. Someone called the cops on me they thought I was really Suge. So it was reported that Suge Knight is trying to get in the studio. He got on the line. Now he's trying to get into the studio. So, and the director, he told me to be Suge Knight as a method actor. So when you're on, you are Suge. You're not Marcus right now. I said, okay. And then these 8 cops come. And I'm still being Suge, saying whatever, whatever, and they're trying to, come closer. And I'm saying, come on, come on, come on. And then F. Guy Gray, who was the director, runs out. No, 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 he's my actor. He's my actor. He's not Shug. He's my actor. And they brought it's kill, right? And they brought 10 security guards to surround me and back me from the whole
Right.
situation. And
Oh,
they
yeah.
took me to the trailer. And after about maybe 10 minutes, the director comes back to my trailer. It's like, wow, they think you're Suge Knight. We're gonna be great. And he was happy. So I was like, okay, because I was still being shook. It was that was fun. So yes, uh I've experienced that.
Well,
People really thought I'm from Compton. I had a lot of people scared. And I'm like,
right,
I'm the light skinned guy. I'm the guy from Jersey. I'm the house Negro. What you scared of me?
right,
for?"
right. Like, you could be just walking down the road if they
Oh yeah,
recognize you after that
I
film, and I
still
know you
get
got
recognized
recognized
from that
after that
film.
film.
It's a blessing. Like people like, hey, Shug, you lost weight.
Yeah,
What's wrong, Shug? And a lot of the fans, they wanted me to keep that weight on.
yeah.
So I was like, I did that for the film. I'm not that big guy, So uh, it's funny.
So,
It's funny.
let me tell you, no, it's that it's just to me, the irony is that people, even though in their mind they understand it's fictitious, these are movies,
It's true.
but for somehow they believe what they see. They really believe what they see. Get this. So we did,
That's
Lauren and
right.
I did No Retreat, No Surrender 3, and we
Yes.
did it. The bad guy was Ryan Hunter. Keith Strandberg wrote the scripts. Now,
Yeah.
Keith is one of my best friends. We did everything together. I go visit him in Switzerland. I'm going to see him end of this year. I mean, we talk once a week. So anyway, during the film, I asked him, I say, listen, can we at least, Lauren and I, we
Yeah.
were showcasing our talent at the end, but you got this
Yeah.
one old guy, you got the guy with white hair kicking our butt. And now, see, that's personal ego for me. I'm thinking how I'm going to look because my son, even to this day, goes, Dad, you're not that good. You let that old man kick your ass in that movie. I went, it's a movie. It's not real. He goes, yeah, but beat
No,
you and Lauren up. I went, no, it's not real. Guess what? Ryan Hunter
I know.
did
Yeah.
two things. One, he didn't know martial arts. Two, he was doubled.
Yeah.
Two, he was a method
Yeah.
actor, and he did what you did. He came on set in character. So my first day meeting him, he would have shake my
Yeah.
hand. He had nothing to do with me, and I was like, "He's the bad guy already? Oh, I'm going to get this guy." So guess what? I saw a reel yesterday. I'm kind of going through YouTube's. I'm looking, and we've got, so many likes on Lauren's stuff and my stuff. Well, there's almost 4 million likes on Ryan Hunter's fight scene. And with us, it's a fake. He can't do that. But people believe 10 times more people watched his than ours because they really believe he's the
Yeah. I
greatest,
remember
just
I
one of the
asked
greatest
you
martial
this
artists.
question years ago, and because I thought he was like a legit the stuff he was doing. And he's like, no, we taught him that. He didn't know anything. And I was just like, good job. You made him look
No,
really good. He had a
right.
double, but you made him do
Yeah, those
the moves and I was just like, you did that was
right, right,
kudos for you.
exactly.
Like, 'cause that was awesome. I had no idea.
Yeah, and actually, that's Tony Leung again. He did that film, and I'm telling you, it was like magic. They put it together, and when I did the film with Jackie Chan,
Yes.
he taught me about rhythm. He literally taught me how to choreograph a fight scene and put the rhythm together.
Yes.
Everything has to do with the beat and the rhythm. And a lot of times, fight scenes you'll see you won't
Right.
subconsciously you won't like him because there's no rhythm or beat to him. But Tony Leung, part of the Hong Kong
Yeah.
crew, they know how to do the rhythm and it's beep, beep, beep,
Exactly.
it is like a song almost. It's almost like, it's like a drum
Yes.
solo with their techniques and you just follow them. And for some reason, your subconscious likes
Yes.
it because there's a beat
Yes.
to it. There's a rhythm. And I thought the end fight scene with the one I did with Super Fights with Brandon Gaines, when he
Yeah.
right at the end where he kills me,
Well, I
we
right.
got that hanging bag with barbed wire around it. Yeah, and then it's ba 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 ba, and I went, we actually took that film to the Milan Film Festival, Keith and I with NG.
Okay.
He still owns Seasonal Films. I wanted to see about the
Mhm.
market, the distribution, how they sold films, and they announced that I was in the screening for that
Yeah.
because they were selling that film to
Yeah.
the international buyers. Place was packed, and at the end of that fight sequence, they
It was
all got up and gave me a
awesome.
standing ovation. Because I got
That's
killed the way
another
I
thing
got
that's good.
killed, it was
How
just
you
so
get killed in a
dynamic.
film is really good. I love when I get killed,
Yeah.
I have to be like the best at it. I can't just be like, I gotta do something. I have to have something in me that, I want to die strong. If I'm bad, I want to die like a man. So definitely.
Well, I've told this on another podcast before, and that
Yeah.
my first
I
dying
got
scene was
sad.
Revenge of the Ninja.
I was
I get
sad.
killed in
Yeah.
there, and I'm dying.
I really
Yeah,
didn't
I'm
like
so
that.
glad. You know, I took a lot of criticism. I took a lot of criticism for my acting, and I made the observation that, guess what? You might, if you don't like my acting, but I said, but then people really resonated and identified with my
Yeah.
character enough because they didn't like me getting killed at the end. So I said, from an acting perspective, I was pretty proud of that because people didn't want to see me die. But but I remember thinking to myself, how do you die on film when I got dialogue? So I tried, I did it. Well, later in life, my son Travis, every time he'd get in trouble, he would do my dying scene. He'd be running around the house. I go, Travis, get your ass over here. And he'd go, what? I said, oh, you're in trouble now. And then he'd go, hold on. He'd fall on the ground. He'd do my dying scene. And Marcus, I promise you, he did it better than me
But
every
that's
time.
good. But I remember that scene. First time I cried because I was like, I think I was 5 or 6. And I cried because I'm like, he's dead. And my father's like,
Right, right.
boy, that's make believe. He's not dead. He's acting, But I was crying because I didn't want you to die. And I was like, he's so cool. Mommy and daddy, he's so cool. Why do you have to die? And then show
Oh,
comes and
yeah.
takes revenge.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little over the top. I guess you got,
Well,
it is a action movie where you need to see certain things, so
Well, it was the first movie that got, distribution deal by
yes, they
MGM.
did.
They put it in every theater in the country.
It did, yeah.
It started the ninja craze, and I made the mistake. I made one of the worst mistakes as an actor.
Yeah.
I was sitting next to Joe Corley at the time watching the premiere. That premieres for me. So Joe Corley goes, "Oh, this movie sucks. It's the worst I've ever seen." He tells me this. He goes, I want you when you're being interviewed after the screening, it's just premiere. And I want you to tell people that you didn't know it had that much violence and
Yeah.
blood and the whole bit. So I didn't know anybody. I was a young kid. And so they interviewed me, and I told them, I said, yeah, it had too much violence and was over the top. Shukasugi had 48 weapons on him. I don't know where he got them from, but he had them on him.
Yeah.
So anyway, the next morning, I mean, I'm talking about I got interviewed at the premiere. The next morning, I get a call from Priscilla McDonald, who works for Menachem
Of course,
at
yes.
Canon Films. Menachem owns Canon Films. She's the one who runs his business. She says, Keith, I said, hey, Priscilla. She says, did you criticize our film last night? And I went, how would you know that? She says, we know everything. Don't you ever criticize a film of ours again. And I went, "Oh
Right.
my gosh, can you believe that?" I learned a lesson the hard way. It's your film
Mhm.
and, you always promote it and do your best to be positive. But but literally when I
It's
was watching it, I was going, "Oh, no, 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 this is not gonna work."
yeah, it
But
was
it was just a
everything.
huge
I wanted to
sensation,
be a ninja right after that.
and tell me this, how'd you end up getting that
Oh,
role? That's
wow.
such a dynamic role. I mean, that puts you on the map.
Okay,
The
make
Outta
move
Compton, man,
um,
Straight Outta Compton. How do you get
I
that role?
think about 5 months before prior to the film shooting, um, my friend Joe, she sent me the audition link for Straight Outta Compton, and then I called her. I was like, "Yeah, I got it. I got the link. This is for Suge Knight," and I was like, "This is my thought. I I don't want to play a bad guy like him. Like I want to be an upstanding black man or man. I want people to see, the goodness, the strength. But then I'm thinking to
Right.
myself, what are you, stupid? This
Yeah.
is the biggest opportunity in your life. And what if you get it? It'll change your life. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do it. And my thought process, I'm gonna get this film. Like I had there was no doubt. That's what my thought process was. So I started gaining the weight and I started studying him. And once I started studying him, wow, I became him in a sense. So when I go to the first audition I went into, I had the
Right.
red on. I was him. I had the sunglasses, the cigars, and I didn't smoke. I didn't know how to smoke. So I was taught how
Wow.
to smoke, and I went
Right.
into that office. They were like, "Wow, okay. I want you to meet the director." And he saw me. He was like, "Can you eat?" I already started. Okay, cool. So it was a 3-month process. So I had 3 auditions, and on the third audition, I killed it. And they said, "Would we want you to be in Straight Outta Compton?" And sure, that was great. And I called my wife, and this was like, she was
Wow.
in New Jersey and I was in LA. We finished that audition at 11 p.m. So I called my wife, which is like a lot, it was like maybe 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock. And I said, "We did it, honey. We did it. We're on." And then she said, "I'm sleepy. Call me tomorrow. Okay, I love you."
The biggest moment of
Yeah,
your whole
but
life. You
I
wanted to stand
understood.
up and
The next
scream.
day she called me
Can you just
screaming.
call me back? Oh, yeah. Oh, I gotcha. I would've said, "Wake up, baby.
Yeah,
No, no, you don't
but
understand. You know what we've
she
been
needed some
working
sleep.
for?
So
This is it."
but she screamed the next
Yeah.
morning. So, "Oh
Yeah.
God, I love you. I can't wait to see you." So yeah, it was great.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so
it was great.
cool. Oh, that's one of you have
Do
any
I?
you have any memorable
Do I?
stories or
I was
things you
only
remember
supposed
the
to be
most
there for
about that?
10 days of shooting. So the first day, F. Gary Gray, the director, told me to be method. I don't care if it's my mama or whoever. If you don't want to talk to that person, don't talk to them. If you want to say whatever you want, say it. I'm telling you to say it. And I was like, yes, sir. So the next day, I see Dr. Dre. You know, Dr. Dre is, right? So Dr. Dre and DOC, and he
Yeah, of
sees
course,
me.
of course.
And he said, "Hey, Marcus, what's up, Marcus? Come on, DC. I want you to introduce you to Marcus, man. He cool, man. He's a good dude." And I'm in character. So I look when he says, "Hey," I'm looking at him like this.
Oh, shoot.
It's
Oh,
a
no
pleasure.
way. Can't do
And I
that.
look. Do I tell you?
Oh my god.
I got a producer's assistant comes up to me with her phone and it says, "What did you do? Oh my God, he's so mad." I'm like, "He's crazy mad. He's so mad. He called me," and I'm still in character, and but I'm starting to get scared. So it shows him he's cursing. He's like, "Man, that dude trying to disrespect me on my. I'm from Compton. I'm from Compton. Don't disrespect me. I'm so mad. He gotta go. He gotta go." And I'm right now. I am literally in
Oh,
myself,
no.
scared to death,
Oh, yeah.
scared to death. But I'm still acting. You know. So at the end of that day, end of that shoot, it was
Oh,
um
shoot.
it was the director and Ice Cube and some other guys from NWA. Ask him, "Yo, we rap, right?" He said, "Yeah, we rap." "Okay, listen. I'm sorry. I did what you told me to do. Am I getting fired? Because I really don't want to get fired. It's my first time ever. Please don't do this to me, man." And everybody starts laughing, which
Oh
made
my
me a
god.
little more upset because I'm thinking this is not fun. So then F. Gary Gray says, "You ain't
Right,
fired."
right.
And then one of the guys said, "That dude had a flashback." So he had a flashback from me, the interaction that we had. He literally had a
Wow.
flashback. So then
Wow.
2 days later,
Wow. Wow.
I get a new contract. Instead of being there for 10 days, I'm there for the entire film. They wrote me in the movie. How God works. That's all I can say.
Wow.
But I did what
Wow.
I was told to do. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and that
if I
well,
didn't
and that
do
method
what I
actually
was
paid
told
off.
to do, Like
Yep.
other people said, I should have snapped out of it just to talk to him, but I didn't. Who knows what would have happened? So I'm glad that happened, because I did. I always tell people, what the director tells you to do something, you just do it. You know, if it's nothing, uh, uh nothing crazy, it's because there are some things that people do that are crazy, but basics you just do, and that's what I did,
Right.
and it worked
Right.
out for me.
Oh my how did the crew members or some of the other characters in the film treat you?
And
Weren't they
yes, I
some
mean
original,
the entire
gang
most
members
of
and
the
stuff or people
people
from Compton in
were
there?
gang affiliated. Um, my entourage, they were all OGs.
Wow.
They were all bloods, real bloods, and we had the best time. It was a family set indeed. It was like how can I explain it? It was like the Million Man March in 1995. That's how I felt. It was just everybody. Nothing got stolen. Nothing. Everything was just. It was real. Men were being vulnerable
Right.
to each other, saying how like blessed they're
Right.
being here. They're crying, and I'm crying because they're crying, and they're teaching me the lingo because I'm a kid from Jersey. I don't know nothing about that. So, but they're teaching me, and I'm building long lasting friendships with the other cast members. And it's awesome. And we're still cool to this day, and we still talk on the phone and text each other, worried about each other. So it's a big blessing to be a part of.
Well, back then, Compton was badass. It was legit. But get this, John Crane was working at the Improv, and I was with him. We had another friend that was a comedian, broke down in Compton. Don't know how he got there, but called us up,
Right.
crying, "Get help us." So we go in the middle of the night in Compton to go get him, and the cops come
Mm.
and they're guarding us going, "You need to get out of here now." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they said, "Look at," and they had apartments here. And they said, "See all the people looking at you right now? They all had their lights on, all staring out the window, looking at me." He says, "You're fresh meat to them. He says, you won't even survive tonight." And I was like, "Oh my God, what country am I in? Get me out of here."
Yeah.
And we got the
Yeah.
hell out of
Yeah.
Compton for
Yeah.
sure, but it
I've
was it
I've
was a
been there.
dangerous place back then.
It's funny because since the film, I'm invited there all the time. So far so good. I don't have any issues when I go there and stuff. And it like I said, it
Well,
it was
good.
an iconic role because they did something that was really big at that for that time. They changed rap, and they changed a lot of different things. And I'm just happy that it was shown,
Right.
and it was great. It was awesome. Definitely.
Wow. That's good. And it's the feather in your cap is that it wasn't
Yeah.
stunts or martial arts. I mean, this is a legitimate film, big budget film,
Yeah.
and what it didn't do like
Hmm.
4
Yeah, it
weeks
was
as
number
number 1 or
one.
whatever in the country.
It was it
Yeah,
was
so that put you on the map.
and it's funny because
Yeah, that's like
F. Guy Gray, the director, when he's in when and people are interviewing him and they mention me, and it was like, yeah, he's this MMA guy, he's a fight guy, he's a stunt man. So I was like, I'm glad he said it like that because I got a lot of mixed emotions during that time because some stunt people were like, "Oh, here we go, why he's trying to be an actor," but then other people were like supporting me. A lot of big time James Lou. He supported
right.
me. He supported me during that process. He said, "Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that. You should do it. Don't let these
Well, that's
guys get
good.
to you." And Jeff Wolf
Yeah,
and all those guys. So
I like James Bond.
I knew it just felt good to me to get that love from them, like that I belonged finally.
Right. Now, did that kind of catapult you and
Um,
open up other
well, like
opportunities after that? It should
after we
have.
wrapped, it got a little tough for a second, but I get a call from uh James Lou, and he said, "We want you to do be in Luke Cage, but as an actor, but you do
Oh,
your own
wow.
stunts." And I was like, "I'll take it, I'll take it." And then the movie comes
Wow.
out, and
Yep.
everything changed after that. Everything. As soon as that movie came out, instant.
Yep.
Every agent was
Yep.
was after me, and I was just like, I had to pick wisely, and I think I
Oh, that's
did.
cool.
And there's a lot of stuff I wish. There's some things I wish
Yep.
I could have changed
Yep.
because I had a mindset like, okay, I want to do action. I want to do action. Why can't I do action? But it just I had to. I wish I could
Right.
do. I can if I could take back like maybe one or two things. But other than that, like a roller coaster ride, and I'm still riding it.
Well, guess what? You should be proud of your career because you've done stuff
Yeah,
that most of us as martial artists breaking into films weren't able to do. I was fortunate to have a couple
that was
um,
all. Yeah,
theatrical releases, in films like American Kickboxer was in the theater, but they were mild compared to yours. Like guys like Gary Daniels, he was in 30 films
yeah,
and never had one domestic release. Never been in the theater. Cynthia
yeah,
Rothrock, she's only been in one or two films to ever make it to the theaters. All these guys that we look up to and all great, they didn't have domestic releases. Forget that.
yeah,
Then we will hopefully one day can break into mainstream.
yeah. I
I
remember.
did some TV shows with Nash Bridges. That's mainstream.
Thank you.
But you hit the big time. No, no, you hit the big time. You are the what we look up to. When you're
But
looking up to
see,
us or talking about us, we're going, we want to
but
be
see,
like
that's the
Marcus Taylor
thing,
because you
Sensei.
you
You're
achieved
the reason
greatness.
why I'm here. You guys are no, no. Accept it.
Oh
If it
man, I
wasn't for
love hearing
guys
that.
like you, Show, Chuck Norris, uh, Billy Blanks, Cynthia, Richard North, Art Camacho, I can name so many. You guys were my mentors without you even knowing. So in a way, you kind of propelled me to become what I am now. So please, I say thank you.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. Well, listen, you're more than welcome. And I tell you what, you have taken the mantle and you moved it forward and you've done so well. So look what you've done and achieved. So you should be so proud at night. You should be putting your head on the pillow going,
I don't think like that.
Vitali, none of those guys have done
I'm
what
old
you've done.
school. I'm
None of
old
them. I
school.
mean, that's
I'm old school
that's
sensei. I
so
can't do.
impressive. I know, but that's so impressive.
I try to be nice and
Yes.
polite and
Yeah.
stuff, but it's like I'm different. I'm different because like what I appreciate, you guys take advantage
Yep.
or don't even think about. The martial arts code, the martial arts upbringing, the martial arts lifestyle. I try to live that lifestyle daily, and like martial arts saved me for so many things. Watching films, uh, I never took classes in acting. I learned from watching you guys. I learned the accents. I learned, how to
Right.
talk different
Yep.
accents and how to react and how to give that $1 million, stare if I need to, and it, that's how I became
Yeah.
successful in it. Oh, karate.
What kind of style of karate
It's
did you
called
start in, or did you train
Wazitoru
under?
Karate, and it was my first teacher was Sensei Ross, and out in Plainfield, New Jersey, and um, Chuck Norris. They trained together years ago, and I got a picture of those guys together. And then I
Wow.
started reading a lot of Stephen Hayes
Did you
books,
ever?
and I mean so many like Jeff Amata books.
A friend of
Uh,
mine. Yeah.
so many. So I mean, I can
Yeah.
countless.
The more you talk, the more I feel blessed because every name you mentioned,
Exactly.
I've either know or worked out with or trained or fought. Every one of them. I
Yeah.
came in, it seemed like I was born at the right time in martial arts history because the Chuck Norrises, Jeff Smiths, Joe Lewises, all those guys, Mike Stones, all those different people. I got it. Benny
Yeah.
Akiva's got the. I mean, all these different
Bill
people. Just
Wallace. I
imagine those
mean,
kind of names. So
all those
that
guys,
that's so
and
incredible.
I mean, and Bill Wallace. He's like, "How you doing, Marcus? How you doing? You good? Yeah, I'm good." And I'm just like, it's crazy. He's giving me hugs and like I received the love from you guys, and it's just it's like it's awesome, and that's my happiness, that's my joy. I mean, think about I can live under a chair, but we're married guys, so my wife and my family got to be taken care of. But I can be under a chair. I'll listen to stories all day.
Well, let me ask you some questions, just so the audience gets to know you. Because one thing that I'm fortunate is I have friends here in the States, but I have friends in about 45,
Yes.
50 countries around the world because they all like those Jackie
Mhm.
Chan films and other films. But I actually had a fighting career too, so a lot of them followed me back then. But it's like picking out your favorite child. It's hard to do, but I want you to try. Who was the actor? Don't mention me. Who was, if you had to pick a one actor that inspired you the most, not an actor, but a martial artist that inspired
Shokasugi.
you to get into films the most?
Shokasugi. Yeah.
Joe Kosugi. Good job. And then right now, if you had to guess, old timers, not the new timers, who was your favorite, like an art
Chuck
style?
Jeffries.
Who was your favorite martial arts actor?
Chuck Jeffries. Yeah,
Chuck Jeffries. Oh
he's
yeah.
really good.
Do you know he's
He's
talented
really good.
too?
Yeah, I know.
He can do anything.
Yeah,
I did
he's
2
funny.
films with him. He and he's hilarious. He 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 kept the
Yeah.
Chinese stunt people and the
Yeah,
Chinese
no,
crew
yeah,
laughing the
he
whole
could do
time.
that. He
He would
could
just
do
make
that.
up words, Chinese
I've
words,
never I
and
haven't
then they would
we've
just
talked
start
on the
laughing.
phone so many times, but I
Yeah,
still haven't the chance to meet him in person, and I plan on meeting him in person. It's been a crazy 8 years. It really has.
yeah, but you could meet a lot of
Yes, he
people.
was.
You're gonna
Yeah.
be open up
Mhm.
because he was doubling Wesley
Yeah,
Snipes
me
as
too.
well. Remember that? In
He
Blade and
he's
all that. And Wesley, I know
he's
Wesley as well.
he's like
You
the
know,
second
so
after Chuck.
oh yeah, he's
So
good.
Wesley is the second guy after Chuck. But because like Chuck is
Wow.
I mean, so
Wow,
is
yeah.
Wesley, you know, but it's just like those
Yeah.
two guys together. I probably should have put it that way. It's like there's two. So it's Chuck and there's Wesley Snipes. Definitely.
Did that. I was at a martial arts event in California, and Chuck Norris, everybody was there. If you had a name, you were there. And I've had tabled everybody, and we're there. And Wesley Snipes shows up, and he comes and taps on my shoulder, and he says, "Can I talk to you?" And he says, "I just want to, I used to watch you fight in New York, and I'm a big fan,
Yeah.
but not the martial arts and karate. I mean, one of doing in films, it was karate.
No, we
He was
were. We
inspired
all were.
even by my karate skills, which was kind of cool. He didn't. Well, he didn't see
I
revenge,
mean,
but
like I
it was
said,
kind of
like
nice to have a
we
Wesley
watched you
Snipes come up to me
guys
and say
and
things
it
like that,
inspired us. I'm like,
and
your technique was so sharp. Like like we would literally I would really in my
yeah.
gi try to do I wanted people to hear that snap. You know, when I punched and kicked, I wanted people to hear that because I got that from watching you.
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
I th-
Yep.
That's it.
It's
Yes,
right, it's
sir.
gotta pop. It's got then you throw it, and then the kicks and the whole bit. And that those great and fighting like in Madison Square Garden against, Oliver and people like that, just what a I just love it. And one thing I look back at my career, it's funny because 'cause I'm smiling all the time. I'm walking out of the dressing room into the Madison Square Garden into the
Yeah,
ring, and I'm smiling like I've won already. No, I'm just happy to be there. I'm so I'm like you.
yeah,
It's the environment. I'm in the
yeah.
dressing room where Rocky and all the great fighters, Muhammad Ali, they've all been.
It's
And
beautiful.
here it
It's a
is. Now
wonderful
I'm walking
experience.
into the same ring I'm gonna fight at the same time, you know. So I'll tell you that by the time I was getting ready to fight a full contact match later, and
Oh wow.
Muhammad Ali came in.
Wow.
He's fighting on the same card as an exhibition. He came in and did
Yeah,
some stuff
that's
with me,
awesome.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. It doesn't get any better than that.
You're gonna have a lot of
Yeah.
spaghetti.
So we're gonna eat a lot of fat burgers. We're
You're
gonna have
gonna
a
have a
lot of
lot.
stories.
Yes.
Spaghetti's even better. Yeah. So tell me, who was your favorite stunt coordinator? Because sometimes the director and stunt coordinator can be the
Ooh.
same, or sometimes
American
you're different.
or
Who's your favorite
Asian?
stunt coordinator?
American or Asian?
Well, either one. Oh,
Samo
you can do
Park
Asian and then
is my
then
favorite
American.
Asian. Probably
Yep.
yeah, definitely that. But well, that's a toughie. It's a toughie for the American. That's a toughie. I, I want to say Jeff Pruitt.
Yeah.
I want to say Jeff
You've worked
Pruitt
with
because
like
when
Art Camacho and a
the
bunch of
movies he
people.
was
Jeff. Yep.
involved in,
Yep.
I mean, they look great. You know, I mean, and I can name a lot of them. But his movies and it just looked more like hard. You know, it looked realistic. You know, and I like that. I like the realism of it. What you know, and of course
Yeah,
it's about camera angles and things like that. But I just like the techniques, and that's something I think we're kind of missing in today's action is the technique. I know life or death situations, but hey, we've been in life or death situations and we use technique. I thought the technique was the ones that saved us. You know, so I wish there was more technique in it.
exactly. Yeah. I get bothered when I watch a film and the director takes the camera and moves it on the fight scene
Yes,
in and out. Well, he's just masking the fighting ability of the 2 because you can't
yes,
tell. You pull the
yeah.
camera back. Let's see it, let's see a shot. Let's just no. It bothers me. You can always tell. Well, they apparently don't
Re-
have qualified stunt people or whatever because if you had to pick an athlete,
Oh, um, all around, or today or
yeah,
yesterday.
that's it. You can't pick a sport. You just got to pick somebody and say this guy inspired me.
Oh, um, okay, Paulo Tunche. He's the guy
Who's
that
that?
he's the guy that played the Muay Thai fighter in Bloodsport.
Oh,
Yeah, he had the tattoos. Like he had the tattoos before all these kickboxers and Muay Thai guys and MMA guys had their
right,
tattoos. He fought in he's South African, but he fought in Thailand and trained with the
well,
Thais, like and he's one of like the first Westerners that won championships in Muay Thai, and then he became an actor. He was doing a lot of Hong Kong films as well. He did a lot of in those '80s movies, like ninja movies and stuff. He was in
right.
a lot of those, and I just when I saw him, I was just like, wow, I want to do what he does. Like I like the karate part of it, but he was just that bad. Like I can relate to him because I see more guys look like him, you know, instead of John Claude. You understand? So
Right.
I just thought, like, wow, there's a guy. The Muay Thai thing really, really helped me and changed me with techniques and learning. I love learning everything. I love to learn everything. I'm a geek. I'm a martial arts geek. Definitely. I want to learn as much
Yeah,
as
I
I
could
can.
tell. No, which that's
Yeah.
why we get along so well because
That's right.
we're the same person.
Yes, sir.
Martial arts and films. If you had to pick one or two, who are your favorite martial art actors?
Okay.
If you know, if
Yeah, all right. I'm a lay it on the line. Miss you, Cynthia Rothrock, um, Chuck Jeffries, Wesley Snipes, Billy Blanks. Um, I forgot his name right now. I'm going blank.
gotcha.
But he was in the '90s. He did a lot of films. And Olivia Grainer.
Gruner,
Grainer, yes.
Olivia Gruner.
Yes,
Yeah,
there you go. That
he's
dude
really
was,
good.
yeah, yeah. He like
Yeah, I think
I,
he's fantastic.
I patent a lot, like all you guys. I made my own type of technique, you know. So I had the snappy, strong, powerful kicks from you, the street type of stuff from Richard Norton, the flexibility of Cynthia, and just the ruggedness of Olivier, and Chuck
I,
Jeffries. Just there's a lot of
yeah.
those, but I can't just name. I got to name them all because they all inspired me.
Well,
Definitely.
I'm going to do this. Get this. I
Okay.
want to thank you for being on the show. Now, guess what? There's going to be a part two to this show. We're going to keep this going in a minute, but I love this interview so much. There's a part two coming. So don't you go away. But for you fans out there, for you listeners out there, thank you so much for watching this episode. And if you like this episode, do me a favor. I want you to like it, share it, and of course, please leave comments. Let me know what you thought about this interview because I loved it as much as anybody.
Yeah, I did.
And then always remember to subscribe. Until next time, ciao.